Jose! We're on a final leg of this restoration of your... What year is this one? This is a... Where do they keep the dates on these suckers nowadays? We're looking at a 2002 Fender Vibroverb. Forgive me on that one. We're just being honest here, folks. This is the kind of day this has been. And we have a 400 hertz sine wave test signal running through the input. You could probably hear that. We have no reverb. It's not the tube. You hear that? What's that tell you? That tells you that the recovery stage is working. But something's wrong with the driver stage. Woo! There it is. See if we can patch this thing up and get you back. All right, and we are patched up. Beautiful. And we went ahead and did what? Made the only kind of assumption you could really make when you're doing this kind of work. You can assume that the other ones are not far behind that one. So you go ahead, strip them, clean off those terminals, and make yourself a nice new mechanical connection before soldering it again. But here's another thing. Before I button this girl up, you see that wiggly transducer? See that? Well, you can't see it, but trust me, it's wiggly. And then this guy, look at that. See that? I'm holding the carriage down. We don't want that. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little dollop of RTV. Not the kind that smells like vinegar, mind you. The non-corrosive sort. And we're going to secure these transducers. It's going to improve the tone of reverb and reliability. I'm also going to put a little bit here as strain relief. So as this thing flexes, we're not going to get that same kind of mechanical failure of that joint. I made a last minute decision to, oh, let me get you in there. See that black stuff, that shiny stuff there? Look at that. Oh, what is that? That is not RTV. Let me tell you what that is. That is a product that is no longer made called MG Chemicals Connector Coating. What does it do? Well, it turns into a rubberized insulator. So you see that stuff on the wire that makes it green, or I'm not talking about the dye. I'm just talking about the jacket of the wire. This becomes essentially just the same as the wire jacket itself. But it looks goopy. Well, guess what? If you need to service this area, it'll peel right off. And it's not going to leave any residue behind. It'll come off clean. I've coated both sides of these terminals here. And it will set up within an hour. And it smells mighty fine. Mighty fine. So now we have our strain relief. This will, in a sense, future-proof. But there's no guarantee, right? And that's about it. I'm going to put a little bit of foam tape across the top of this reverb pan here. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Watch this. Very resonant and metallic, very harsh sounding. So with a little strip across the top, that will quell the vibrations and let the lovely juiciness of the springs come through. Give us a nice, clean reverb tone. It won't sound like it's in a metallic drain. So that said, let's power her back up. And Jose, by the way, that was not intentional. Jose, I did bias this amp with a wall voltage set at 120. This will give you some leeway. And there we go. She's warming up. And we're back. A little bit of 120 in your reverb signal. Could be the fact that this thing is out in the open now. exposed to all the RF junk. I do have a 700-foot RF blaster about a mile away. So let's take a listen. And I by the way, I did notice that Fender was kind enough to run the plate jumper on the outside of the socket. Thank you guys. Whoever did that, thank you so much. So let's be grateful. Let's get this thing going. Whoa, is that reverberation I hear? Ooh. It's like the best Slayer solo you've ever heard. The best part is when you power this thing down in a cap strain. Check it out. Charlie Brown's teacher. Love it.